and ordinance authorizing the fiscal year 2025 property tax levy. 0 nays, 50 nays. This matter has been voted down. Alderman Mitchell on a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President.
That's moments from yesterday's Chicago City Council meeting, a special one where unanimously Chicago City Council members voted down Mayor Brandon Johnson's proposed $300 million property tax increase. It's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Wake up with us each and every weekday morning for Illinois in Focus Live, where you can interact with people in the live chat. Get the podcast where you get podcasts and get the headlines at thecentersquare.com. So Chicago City Council members unanimously came together voting down the property tax proposal during a special meeting yesterday. But before that meeting in Chicago, they had a public comment period. Tyler Cruz talked about how the city is in debt and it's because of overspending, not because of not bringing in enough revenue.
Infrastructure is a mess. The bridges are a disaster. The roads and traffic is a joke. Servicemen, I have several friends on the force, and they are exhausted. We have a lack of fire trucks, a significant amount of overtime spent, and it is ridiculous. We're relying on casinos, we're relying on property tax increases, instead of addressing the true issue, which is we have an addiction to spending. We do not have a revenue issue. We have an addiction to spending. I know I have 2 seconds. I urge my fellow Chicagoans to continue pushing for...
Yeah, so you got cut off there. But clearly, some of the taxpayers in Chicago see that it's the spending. It's not more taxes that are needed. Miss Lawrence, another resident of the city of Chicago, got up to talk about, they're looking at possibly higher taxes. Is that money going to go to non-citizens?
What about our real estate? Because, see, we paid for these properties for a purpose and not for you to go touching it with $300 million that you want to siphon out of the citizens' pockets. Get rid of the illegals, and that'll take your money right back. Started off with that.
So is that something that the city of Chicago is going to work with the Trump administration for mass deportations? I guess we'll continue to monitor that and see what happens. But again, after citizens addressed the council, you had the vote, and the vote didn't go for Brandon Johnson.
0 nays, 50 nays. This matter has been voted down. Alderman Mitchell on a motion to adjourn.
And people celebrating the defeat, the unanimous defeat against the proposal. And keep in mind, I mean, they're looking at $1 billion deficit in the city of Chicago. So what are they going to be doing here? Johnson reacting to the unanimous no vote in the city of Chicago to his property tax proposal.
This is a healthy process. This is something that my administration can handle. I'm not intimidated by voices from individuals who are city leaders in their own respect. So this is a good thing for Chicago. It's a new process. People will learn to adjust to it as we continue to move forward.
So a new process, he says. But he's also adamant, especially after losing the property tax increase proposal. He's now on a focus of what he calls progressive income, looking at making, quote, the wealthy pay their fair share.
So let me just say this, where the money should come from is the ultra rich in this state. And look, we fought for that, is to make sure that we're working with our state reps, our state senators, our governor, our county commissioner, our county board president. All of us require progressive revenue in this moment. And we can no longer afford the ultra rich big corporations to continue to get away with not paying their fair share. Is that we have to have state government and federal government work to ensure that those who are ultra rich in this state, in this country, have to pay their fair share. They continue to get away with not living up to the hopes and the promises and aspirations of what it means to be a nation, one nation, indivisible. Right? Literally fighting for justice for all. That's the goal in all of this. So we will continue to have this robust conversation, and I'm confident that we'll be able to land it. And so, look, ultimately, we need a progressive income tax in the state of Illinois. One of only 11 states who don't have that. We got to continue to fight for it.
So, will we see Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson be an adamant proponent of another attempt for a progressive income tax? You've got that question on binding that was just approved to tax millionaires 3% more for property tax relief. I don't know if that would be able to go to Chicago to help it pay its debts. So we'll be watching that closely. But another interesting thing, just to wrap up on a Friday here with Illinois in Focus Daily. Get the segments of the show each and every weekday morning at America's Talking Network. Somebody who we've talked with in the past, reporter in Chicago. He's an independent reporter, William Kelly. He's got his press credentials back, and he's getting moments in front of the city of Chicago mayor.
Your approval rating is at an historic low. Chicagoans are saying that you're a worse mayor than Lori Lightfoot, if you can believe it. Your property tax proposal, $300 million property tax increase, just got shot down 50-1. That's got to be a record. Primarily because Chicagoans felt that any tax increase that you propose is simply a migrant tax, that money is going to pay for migrants, almost to the penny. Considering your rhetoric, even here today, comparing Donald Trump to Hitler, do you really believe that Donald...
Better hurry up and ask a question, otherwise your arm going to get real tired. Hurry up.
No, I'm good.
Well, we're not, so hurry up.
Right. Well, Mayor Johnson, considering your rhetoric towards Donald Trump, his border czar, Holman, has already said...
You're about to get that mic passed. You got to ask the question, sir. You're wasting people's time.
Well,
just ask the
hundreds
question.
Of thousands of people on
Okay,
at
so
William
check
J.
this
Kelly
out.
on
If
Twitter.
you don't ask your question, we're going to move on to somebody else.
You're interrupting my question is what
You haven't asked
makes it difficult.
Can we
okay?
move on to the next person,
Okay.
Nefsa
Here's
Hayat?
the question.
Thank you.
They're saying that they're going to double down on sanctuary cities like Chicago due to your rhetoric. You're $1 billion.
Okay, I've
in
had
the hole.
enough of this.
How are you?
You have to learn how to articulate yourself and ask an articulate question. Here's how we're going to balance our budget. Thank you. I've heard your question. You know what? Let's take this mic from this person here. Go ahead, Craig.
Are you going to answer the question?
Here's a better way in which you can frame this. Are you going to ensure that the behavior that you continue to conduct with, are you going to ensure that you're going to stop it? So you're asking me not even a question. You're going on a monologue.
You interrupted the question. Mr. Mayor, do you have...
Craig, can you answer the next question? Thank you.
Oh,
Good
boy.
afternoon.
That's interesting. We may see more of that. I don't know. So happy Friday. It's Illinois in Focus Daily. Hopefully you guys wake up with us on Monday. We'll be back at it live.